Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for May 28th. May 28th is the 148th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 149th in leap years, with 217 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is homologate. Homologate is a word that means to approve officially, especially a car, engine, etc., for sale in a particular market or for its use in racing. This comes to us through Latin, Greek before that, words that meant to agree or allow. Earliest documented use of the word homologate is in 1644. Now, as a side note about this word, some auto racing competitions require participating vehicles to be available for sale to the general public and not be made custom-made for racing. In other words, the vehicle must be a production model, not a prototype. And the process of homologation verifies this. The initials GTO, listed after some auto names such as Ferrari or Pontiac, stands for Gran Turismo Omologato, GTO, Italian for Grand Touring Homologated. How about that? The inspiration for this bit of research came from Mr. Bowers one day when we were talking about cars in general and fast cars in particular. GTOs were mentioned and discussion about what that meant, and here you have it, homologate. So remember, if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, we're going to start in the year 585 BC, when a solar eclipse occurred. You might remember that a solar eclipse happens when a portion of the Earth is engulfed in a shadow cast by the moon, which either fully or partially blocks the sunlight. An interesting thing about this particular eclipse is that it had been predicted by the Greek philosopher Thales, and this happens to then be one of the cardinal dates from which other dates can be calculated. Now hold on to your hats, because we're going to make a big jump from 585 BC all the way to 1945. With the birthday of American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer John Fogerty, born May 28, 1945. He started a band with his brother and a couple of friends, and they went through several name changes along the way, eventually come to be named Creedence Clearwater Revival, or CCR for short. They played at Woodstock, enjoyed a good bit of success before disbanding in 1972. He did some work under an alias on the eponymous The Blue Ridge Rangers album in 1973. John Fogerty released his first solo album, John Fogerty, in 1975. We don't hear much from him then until he has a 1985 release of the album Centerfield, and we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. Still alive and still working, John Fogerty turns 79 in 2024. John Fogerty. Be sure to check out the How About That and There's a Word for That playlists. I've included links to those in the description. This being John Fogerty's birthday today, May 28th, if you happen to be watching this episode on any other day. As soon as I saw his name, this song popped into my mind. As I was doing the research for it, I see that yes, John Fogerty is a huge baseball fan, and I got to tell you, I got goosebumps as I watched the video for this song, getting ready to write this report. Creedence Clearwater Revival was a phenomenon its own self in the 1960s and 70s with their bayou-flavored music, hits such as Susie Q, Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, and so many more. They actually performed at Woodstock, but CCR felt their performance was subpar, so it wasn't included on the original Woodstock documentary, but has subsequently been included in the 1994 CD box set Woodstock, 3 Days of Peace and Music. The group disbanded in the early 70s. John then took some time off from recording and returned in 1985 with his solo album Centerfield. The song Centerfield is the title track from that album. I'd say it pretty aptly expresses a great deal of what John Fogerty loves about baseball, and I could sure identify. Centerfield was released Originally as the B-side to the song Rock and Roll Girls, it sounds like he underestimated how this song would resonate with baseball fans. I know I sure love it. And the song is featured at all levels of baseball, often played when teams take the field or between innings. In doing today's research, I learned that John Fogerty himself performed at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in 2010, which sadly for me was about 2.5 years after I moved away from Cooperstown, so I missed that one. Great song, Centerfield, by John Fogerty. Link in the description. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.